The world's newest overwater villas just opened in Saudi Arabia.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this looks so fake. It looks completely like a rendering. Obviously, it's real because they went there, but first thought is like, did they mess with nature? Like, did they add some chemicals to the water or the sand? They imported it for the water to look this crystal. I mean, I've been to the Red Sea. I've been to Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt, right? And it's very close to where this is. And it's tropical, but not like this. Saudi has always had this location looking this beautiful and pristine and we just didn't know about it? Or are they kind of like massaging it, right? Like, that's a big question for me.
This resort looks like nothing that we have ever seen before. And it's so futuristic that it almost looks fake. If you went on ChatGPT and asked it to make a futuristic version of overwater villas that look like spaceships, you would get something very similar to the images that you see on their website. And if you go online and look for reviews, it doesn't show up on TripAdvisor or any of the other travel websites. So we figured somebody needs to do the hard work of going and checking out these overwater villas.
Dude, I would love to do this. Like, visiting resorts. Are you serious? That's like the best job as a YouTuber. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
But all jokes aside, I am even more fascinated by this place because of a recent video that our friend Johnny Harris made. It explains how Saudi Arabia is literally spending trillions of dollars to build futuristic infrastructure to attract more people to the country as a way to diversify away from oil. If you've heard anything about this, the one project that you probably know about and the one that Johnny focused on in his video is called The Line. And it's supposed to be a 100-mile city.
I've seen this video. And Johnny's take was kind of negative. He kind of exposed it, shall we say. And we didn't see this resort at all. And this is done. Like, this resort is ready. Like, we can go and visit it, which is insane. They're literally trying to see, like, copy what Dubai has done, right? They're like, look, why haven't we done this? Why has Dubai taken this market, right? So this MBS guy is really investing in the infrastructure and wants to bring tourists in. And it looks pretty damn good. I mean, it looks beautiful to me.
But that project is just part of this bigger thing that Saudi Arabia is calling Vision 2030. The Red Sea project is another part of this $1 trillion worth of spending. They're planning on building 50 hotels with over 8,000 rooms on this group of islands, and the resort that we're going to stay at is one of the first ones finished. But I think what makes this all feel even more crazy is that 9 years ago, in 2016, when we first started traveling, a tourist visa to go to Saudi Arabia wasn't a thing.
Okay, I'm not surprised by this. The only ways you could actually go to Saudi before was like oil and gas business trip or visiting the holy sites for Umrah or Hajj if you were Muslim. Otherwise, no tourists allowed. They were extremely strict on this. But it's obviously they're taking a note of what has happened to Dubai and how progressive they've become, how all the foreign people are moving there for tax incentives, and they're trying to like prop up the local economy with technology and everything. So they're taking notes and they're really, starting with tourism, which is exactly what Dubai did, right? That's the first step, kind of make it popular, and then you can focus on industries to come in.
So we're just hanging out on the beach, waiting to get on the boat. And I have so many questions about what we're going to experience. Is Kara going to be able to wear a bathing suit in the public areas? I'm guessing there won't be any alcohol considering it's illegal in this country. What's the food going to be like? These other resorts, once you get there, they feel very Western for better or for worse. Like there's just a certain standard. We're pretty much going into this completely blind.
Very interesting take, right? I completely agree. First thing first, the look of these overwater villas are completely different than the typical Maldives, Bora Bora. Even I think they have them in Jamaica. They're like everywhere. Like you can find these and they all pretty much look the same. It's very interesting that they've taken a modern approach. It's a bold move. Optically, it looks really, really interesting. Now we kind of want to see how, the travel experience, right? Like the staying experience is like. But one of the main things that he touched base was the freedoms that actually are allowed for foreigners to use. I'm expecting same level as Dubai, meaning you could drink alcohol at the hotel. There should be nightclubs, all the Western entertainment, at least at the hotels, should be allowed, because that would be a pretty much deal killer for a lot of foreigners to go on vacation.
You ready, guys?
We're ready.
The boat is ready too.
It's the big one on the right.
You deserve it. It's gonna be Bombay, but it's gonna be experience.
Okay.
I could not believe we were finally about to arrive at this mysterious resort. The suspense was killing me. On the boat right there, we saw a crazy amount of construction, and you can definitely tell something big is happening here. This group of islands is going to look very different in a few years. They're real. We're here. They're actually real.
Dude, no freaking way. This looks straight out of like Popular Science magazine. This is what I looked at when I was a kid, going through these magazines. Like, this is what the future is going to look like.
If there was an ocean on Mars, these are the overwater villas that you would build. This is so crazy.
I'm in shock. I don't know what I was expecting, but I am in shock.
Good afternoon. Nice to meet you guys.
I'm so excited for these guys. I feel like I'm there. But look at the reception. What is this? Like, you know, in Bora Bora, they come with the local outfits. They do a little dance for you. You know, bring in the tradition, right? Like the Saudi tradition, maybe a sword dance, something. Come on, they're filming this. This guy's got a huge following. You got to be ready for these moments, right? You need to welcome the guests right off the pier. They need to see it from the distance. They'll be like, oh my God, they're like waiting for us. And they're going to show us some like, you know, tradition from their culture. And they're just not doing that.
They met us at the dock and swept us off our feet. And they took us on a full private tour of the entire resort.
Dude, no way. This is crazy. They look like they will fly. Like you go inside, you press a button and you go to space afterwards. Like they're just like docking spaceships. It's crazy. It's insane.
These people have no idea who we are, that we have a YouTube channel, or anything. We just booked this place and showed up like any other traveler. And so far it's going pretty well. We'll see how the rest of the trip goes. But for now, it is finally time to go into our villa. Wow. That test. Oh.
Well done. I mean, it's completely how I would have imagined, like first impression, you would do interior design on a flying saucer, right? Because that's what it is. It's like flying saucer, like parking lot, right? Like it's just waiting for like your next mission to, you know, the fourth moon of Jupiter. And it's done tastefully. There's an element of kind of a yachting thing in there, but all the curved lines and curved walls and, you know, extensions that stick out, they re-emphasize the round shape, saucer shape of the structure. So far, so good.
Good morning. After 2 very long days of travel.
Okay, let's just the headboard, okay? Oh my God, I just noticed the bathroom. Again, this is the first time I'm watching this, okay? The headboard is insane. The built-in nightstands are insane. I am speechless. It literally, they hired or created a position for interior saucer decorator. I mean, the color palette is warm, which what you would want in a flying saucer. You don't want it to feel cold and, you know, as aluminum and shiny as on the outside. So I'm very happy they're using beige colors, a lot of mood lighting with the LEDs. Excellent execution so far.
So before we start this tour, I wanted to share a few fun facts that I've already learned about the resort. First, they started building it back in 2017, so it took 7 years to build. And these orbs, those were completely constructed in Dubai and then put on a ship and sent over to be installed here. And last but not least, this whole place is powered by a huge solar farm, which I find pretty cool considering Saudi Arabia is the second largest oil producing country in the entire world.
That is awesome. But they also, like, you're very close to the equator. It doesn't rain that often, very clear skies, and a lot of sun. So it's a good place to go, and I'm sure it would attract, you know, eco-friendly guests who are also okay with other issues and elements in Saudi Arabia because, you know, it's kind of a... But yeah, overall, good move.
This resort is shaped like a giant oval, so we're gonna start here on one end and make our way all the way around, ending in our villa on the other side.
Okay, that was concerning because it seems like there's so much construction going on. Did you guys see the aerial? I'm worried about noise. I'm worried about sand picking up from all the construction, getting everywhere. and just ruining your experience at this point.
Right behind the beach is the public pool. It's an infinity pool with tons of chairs, and they're all empty. We have seen like 2 other guests since we've been here, but I love how private it feels.
Not as flexible as I used to be.
Also at dinner last night, we were the only ones at the restaurant.
That's weird, because like to me, even restaurants, forget about resorts, like even restaurants, I really care how busy a restaurant is. When I walk into a restaurant, I really want that vibe and energy and music and loudness. And to me, 50% of the experience is even more, maybe like 60, 70%, or even 80% of the experience is the vibe and energy. Food for me, 20%. I mean, it has to be at least above a certain level. But if I'm having fun, I don't care so much about how ridiculously tasty it is.
I'm happy we're some of the first to be here, and it is so fun to feel like we have the whole place to ourselves.
Also, there is life, but that's a lifeguard and not another guest.
Welcome to the pool bar. One of our big questions was answered yesterday. I was shocked to see this huge, beautiful bar right here on the beach serving wine, champagne, beer, cocktails, liquors. I just thought maybe Saudi Arabia just doesn't count resorts on the Red Sea.
No, that would be a complete like shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, alcohol is so intertwined in the Western culture that if you really want tourists to come who spend a lot of money, you have to have alcohol at the resorts, and they've done that. And obviously they took a note from what Dubai has done.
Non-alcoholic champagne, non-alcoholic wine, non-alcoholic beers, more of it behind the bar.
What? Are you serious? Maybe that's why it's empty. Guys, MBS, if you're watching this, buddy, you're gonna have issues. You gotta overcome this. I really thought you got it right, buddy. You can't cater to the Western culture, right? And you have, okay? And that's your demographic that spends a lot of money, right? And I would be actually interested in this futuristic look. If you don't give them alcohol, it's like that's half of the vacation for them. So I know you guys are having an internal conflict in Saudi right now. They're like, but it's, the Holy Land. And the other side is like, but we really want them because, we want to diversify our economy. Well, you should have made that decision before starting construction. Because, spoiler alert, these hotels will remain very, very empty for a very long time if you don't cater to them. You should, pass a fatwa. It's like bring some scholars in, designate this land as unholy or some element to it, or secede it to a LLC and put a tax on it, right? To build schools or mosques or whatever you have to do. But you need to make it halal. If you make it, this gotta be halal zone over here. You can't keep it haram, okay? Big decision. I know it's your decision, not mine. I'm just letting you know from someone who's come from the Middle East but lived in the Western world. You need to overcome this challenge.
And once again, no one's here. We are the only one.
Surprise! The bar is empty because it's
Red Sea is one of the best places in the world to dive. We were lucky enough to do it a few years ago in Jordan. Specifically remember seeing our first octopus ever, and then they sunk a plane and a tank. That was super cool to scuba dive around.
Okay, I've been to the Red Sea. I've been to Jordan as well, but I can tell you Sharm el Sheikh is nowhere as clear water as this, right? And now I'm sure parts of Egypt that they are, but I'm a little surprised actually. Like I have to say, initially I thought like they messed around with it because I wouldn't be surprised some of these islands are man-made islands, and I kind of want to find out. I hope they mention if it's a man-made island or not. But I'm wondering if the water has always been this clear, or they're kind of engineering it, environmental engineering something, or that making it better. But I'm pleasantly surprised and happy, right? I've done scuba diving, but in Thailand, not in Red Sea.
I don't really feel like we've gotten to experience the true Saudi Arabia. We'll definitely need to come back and do that, but this has been pretty incredible. But at the same time, I don't want this to come off as like us promoting this country or like necessarily encouraging you to come here. every country has its flaws. Saudi Arabia has some big ones. We paid for this experience, like it's not sponsored in any way. I just genuinely find this fascinating.
Okay, personal view. I would travel to any country. I think it's part of traveling, not to hold judgment, and respect their rules, respect the way they run their country, and you completely might disagree, and I disagree with many different, I would say political systems in different countries, but I still want to visit the country and see the people, right? To me, there's a clear distinction between the people of the country, the land of the country, and the government of a country. There's a clear line, okay? I do not see them as one, okay, at all. So 100% I would love to visit Saudi Arabia, and I wouldn't be shameful or sorry for it one bit.
Over here, they have a few paddle courts, and then around the courts, they have a running track, which just looks like concrete, but is padded and feels so good on the knees. Might have to go for a run.
I never want to run.
Okay, the paddle courts look amazing. I would love that. But big question for me is this the local sand? Because it looks beautiful. I think the quality of sand is a topic less discussed in travel and leisure. Like personally, I don't think the quality of sand in California beaches is great. There are sands that the grains are finer, different colors, shades. Some that have a little pink in them, darker sand, heavier. But this sand looks beautiful. It looks really fine. And I'm wondering, it's a big question for me. Is it man-made? Did they import the sand here? Because I think they've created a lagoon. Again, I would love to find out. Educate me in the comments. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I believe they brought sand around, let the water in, and then when the water sits on top of this shallow depth underneath this beautiful color sand, it gives you that blue color, okay? So I think it's kind of a man-made lagoon. Again, my assumption is, okay? Or if maybe something existed and they exaggerated it to make it even more kind of blue, because that color is very, very important, and it's a color I did not see in Sharm el-Sheikh or crossing the Red Sea from Egypt to Jordan. So this overall looks like you could film a freaking amazing commercial for racquetball over here. Beautiful.
I'm gonna say it. This is the best gym we've ever seen. At the entrance, there is an infinity pool. First, you're greeted with drinks and snacks. You have every piece of equipment you could ever need.
Okay, I talk about gym equipment on my main channel. I don't know where I'm going to post this, but Techno Gym. Techno Gym is by far the equipment that if you want to go ultra high end and that just fresh, modern look, clean, and great equipment to actually work out with, is Techno Gym. It would just take your gym game to another level aesthetically and equipment wise. I just love working out in Techno gyms.
Spa. The spa definitely wins best entryway. Check out how I sound in this dome. The acoustics in here are nuts. So this is the spa. We got a little sneak peek yesterday.
Wow. Again, like what an entrance. Well executed. Again, this like free form, random look, like you're going inside like a cave, like between two mountains to get to the rooms. Well executed.
This area is very empty right now, but I'll give you 3 seconds to guess what it's going to be.
Okay, I would say concert hall for, singers and concerts. Concert hall.
They're building a golf course. And once you know that, it looks just like a golf course. But right now, it just looks like a big sand dune.
Good option. Great choice. They know what they're doing, dude. They hire the best of the best of the best, and they're executing it.
As the sun's going down, they become super colorful. And then at night, it reflects the lights on the walkway, which puts this line around the outside of the mall. And then they really look like spaceships.
Dude, they got the whole futuristic part down. I mean, this looks like it was about to take off, right? But what I still haven't seen is the Saudi tradition. You gotta bring the culture in. And they do have a pretty rich culture, right? Like the ones that come to my mind that are very cool, to me at least, because you don't see them in the Western world or even in like Iran, for example, you don't see it, is like camel racing. They also, Arabian horses, they breed horses like no other. So that's another one. Horse racing. But other cool stuff I've seen them do, like sword dance, right? Very, very cool. You got the Bedouin tents that you dig a hole in the ground and you cook. They have this tradition when you welcome them with like special dates, which by the way are the most beautiful, tastiest dates you've ever had. Also with like traditional Arabian coffee, which tastes pretty different than our coffee. Anyways, they got a lot to share. And they're still like in the cosmos right now. Like, bring it down, like incorporate it. If you can blend in like this futuristic look with sword dancing and camel racing, it literally would like blow your mind, like in that context, seeing them next to each other. Like it's not easy, but if you've executed this, I'm sure you can execute that too. So right, like incorporate that, and then it would be like just, people will come to see that.
How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Welcome to Solera.
Thank you.
You enjoy?
Where is everybody?
VIP only.
That's our own private
Yes,
pool.
only for you.
This is weird. Like, I'm starting to question if I want to go there like right now, or I want to wait a little bit. I'm sure after this video, they're getting more people to visit, right? Like 100%.
As we make the long walk to our villa down this bridge, you may notice that some of the flying saucers look really shiny and clean, and other ones are a bit dirty and have like a sandy film on top. One of the coolest things we learned yesterday is that they clean these things with drones. It's been a bit windy since we've gotten here, so they haven't been using the drones, but fingers crossed we get to see that in action, because I think that is so crazy.
Unfortunately, the wind never died down during our stay, so they weren't able to get the drones up and just had to clean them the old-fashioned way.
That's insane. Like for a shiny object to look cool and not dirty, it's got to show itself. And there's like sandstorms, just the water erosion and everything on it. Like you have to keep these clean, and it's really smart to have drones dedicated to do this. I can imagine maybe they're pumping the air from the ocean and then Red Sea and then dumping it on top. But then would that salt water be good for the shiny saucer looking hotel? I don't know how they do it. I would have loved to seen it.
One last stop before we get to our villa. We are calling this one the Mothership. It is by far the largest orb. It's kind of like reception. This is where our boat came in yesterday. And then over here is the Italian restaurant where we ate last night. I have seen all 3 seasons of The Bear, so I was very excited when I heard that the chef has a Michelin star. Is that how it works? Do you have a Michelin star? And the chef is a girl. The centerpiece of the Mothership is an olive tree.
Kind of weak. You needed a bigger one. Come on, guys. Maybe they're anticipating like this resort to really open like in 2 years. But again, they should have gone bigger. It's a little too small.
That is over 1,000 years old.
We needed a 1,500-year-old olive tree. Yeah, it just doesn't match the scale.
And finally, welcome to our villa. I think this could be the reason why we haven't seen very many guests at the resort, because every single villa has its own private infinity pool. On one side, there's a big comfy outdoor bed.
Okay, I just noticed something that does not look it belongs here. And these mosaic tiles. The aliens are not using mosaic tiles. This was a wrong choice of material. It really dates it, actually. It gives it a human touch. I think this is the first material I've seen used in the whole saucer, whatever, above the water space saucer, is the mosaic tiles that I don't like.
Now follow me inside. The other overwater villas that we've gotten to stay in have had a totally different vibe than this one. Usually they're like beachy and wooden and natural. This one is modern, sleek. It feels more like a modern luxury hotel room floating on the ocean.
I think that is a really smart choice. Okay, differentiating your experience for people who've been to Maldives, been to Bora Bora. This is the one that they haven't been to. I think people would want to experience it. Again, I would have never thought I would have said this before, but in a crowded marketplace of overwater villas that seems like they're popping out from everywhere, differentiating yourself is not a bad idea.
When we first checked in, they had left us dates and chocolates and fruit. Huge, beautiful couch. And this thing, I think this is the grand finale that I'm gonna save for the end. But until then, try to guess what you think is in there.
I would have guessed the bar, right? Like you open it up and it would be a refrigerator bar.
And through this door, we have our own kitchen. First and foremost, this is where Nate made our coffee this morning. I love the dishes and the appliances. Everything is just quality.
I'm just wondering, like, is there a grocery store where you can go buy groceries and then bring it here and cook for yourself? Like, are you really going to use this kitchen?
This is what I'm calling the guest bedroom.
Wow. Again, to me, the mood lighting is on point. The futuristic design goes just perfectly how I would have imagined a space saucer would look like. It's a combination of like the first class at a, A380 experience, the Airbus A380 first class experience, meshed with super luxury mega yacht in a space saucer space.
The bathrooms in this villa are insane. Starting with the shower.
She's not kidding. I think it's actually my favorite part. I think when they've introduced that like darker wood tone with the natural stone, which is really timeless stone, by the way, not really veiny, very simple beige tone. It really gives that earth cave vibe within the saucer. Like if you're in the outer space, you want to feel homey, like, you're still in touch with Mother Earth. And it gives you that Mother Earth vibe in a cave form.
Other side of the living room is the primary bedroom. We have a little seating area up here, the world's best king bed, and check out these closets. They are massive.
Look at those mirrors. They've nailed the design, dude. They've really nailed. I didn't even know like how to start designing a spacecraft, but this is the, if you open the dictionary now, they're gonna show like, this hotel.
Oh, just couldn't help but do that again.
I still cannot get over how comfortable this bed is.
I mean, what else can you ask for? Somehow, these hotels always get it right with their mattress, like the ultra high-end hotels. And supposedly you can buy the mattress from them. I don't know. Again, I've never done that, but if you ever go to a hotel that you really, really like the mattress, ask them. They normally sell their mattresses, not the actual one, the new one, but you can supposedly purchase them.
I know people make fun of Kara for saying that everything is the best everything.
She's like the girl version of Ennis. Everything is the best.
Like I said, our bathroom is bigger and better. Both bathrooms have this gigantic, beautiful tub. I think I'm gonna have to take a bath because the soaps and lotions and everything are great, but they've provided this rock that looks like something they just picked up out of the ocean.
That's for scrubbing your feet. It's very common in the Middle Eastern culture. It's I think a volcanic rock. One thing I noticed for the bathrooms, there's only one window in the entire house. The bedrooms didn't have a window, which you could argue like you're sleeping there, you want it dark. The bathroom, you have a skylight, which is cool, but I guess one of the negatives of this space saucer design is that you only get one opening, or at least the way they've executed it, right? Would have been nice to have multiple openings. I guess this one would have been in the back of the property, so would have looked to the hallway, maybe walkway, maybe that's not a good place, but at least from the bedrooms, if you had an angle where you could open up and see the ocean, I think that would be a cool experience. In the ultra high-end luxury hotels, that's something a lot of people want to experience, like waking up, opening their eyes, and you see the water from their window.
This is only one of two windows in this whole villa. Like, obviously the whole front of the villa is one big window. But when I was looking online, I didn't know if the rest of the villa back here would feel dark with just fake lights, but I didn't know they had skylights.
Very cool. Again, she just mentioned what I told you guys, and obviously there's an opening for the door to get in. You could argue if there was one at a lower level from the bedrooms, would have been also very cool, so you had a view to the ocean.
Our shower is pretty much the same, a bit bigger. We have a bench.
This looks way better than the other shower. It looks like a cave, and I love that. I love the fact that part of the flying saucer resembles a cave, right? They've used a natural stone, which is not veiny again, is very soft to the eye, pretty ageless, by the way, timeless. And then you have a bench in there, and it just brings the contrast between the old and the new, right? The future and the past. It blends in perfectly.
Ooh.
I don't know why I wanted to do that.
Okay, so there is an opening from the bedroom. How come we missed it? Or was it separated from the main entrance? I didn't notice this. Sorry, guys. Well done. Again, you get to see the ocean from your bedroom. Fantastic.
And now for the grand finale. I know you've been dying to know. What is this thing? This is your last chance to guess. Do you want to know what's behind these doors?
A bar.
What do they say on the game show host or the game shows?
Move that bus.
Open those doors. Which button is it? Ta-da!
The world's most futuristic minibar.
Oh, it's a mini bar. It still counts. I mean, they should have alcohol in it, but it looks beautiful. It looks like a little saucer drone that, like, you press it, you sit in it, and you just kind of like the, eject button if the saucer is going down. This is like the emergency one. Everyone gets in, you press and it drops and, flies back to the mothership. Well executed, dude. Beautiful. It looks so cool.
And then down below, this is your mini fridge with more non-alcoholic options. This is sparkling rosé, non-alcoholic beer, all the soft drinks. And then I'm really excited to open one of these. These are like non-alcoholic cocktail mixers.
Oh my God. Come on. Like, you so want to do it, right? I'm telling you, all you need is a, Islamic scholar, ask for a fatwa, right? And say, look, we have a dilemma. This is not good for the ummah, right? We need to fix this issue. And I can promise you, Islamic scholars could come up with creative ways to make this halal, right? For the better good of your country. I think you should, if you're catering to the foreigners, you should also cater to their culture, right? Just do it like a halal zone or haram zone, whatever you want to call it. Like, secede that part to an LLC and just so it's not part of Saudi anymore, but it is kind of part of Saudi, and you can figure it out, okay? But I just don't see the success of it being to the level of Dubai if you don't figure this problem out somehow.
Walking on this net with these flippers is so hard. Ooh!
Oh no.
A little chilly. Check out how cool the orb looks from underneath though. Wow, this is cool. As expected, they look even cooler from the water.
It looks so dope. Now, I remember visiting a couple islands in the Persian Gulf when I was a kid in Iran, mainly Kish, Qesh, and Lorak. And Kish especially and Lorak had extremely clear water with white sand where you could see turtles, you could see the fish like coming after. If you were fishing, you could see the fish coming, like, biting on your bait. So I've seen clear water like this in the Middle East region, but not in the Red Sea. And this is a big shocker for me. I'm learning something new. It looks absolutely beautiful. Really, really cool execution. Again, I'm still giving them a few more minutes to see if they're going to show their Arabian culture. Somehow incorporating this to the experience is a key to the success of this resort for me.
That is our room.
It probably won't surprise you to know that we're the only ones in the water.
Dude, this is legit. Like, it's proper snorkeling here, dude. Amazing. Really, really cool.
Yeah, could you take us to the Japanese restaurant? Getting a ride to dinner. Been a big day.
Hungry.
I ate too many snacks from the mini bar since they were free.
Cheers. We're starting with a traditional Japanese drink.
I feel like not having alcohol forces them to level up the flavors in every drink we've had.
One thing I've loved is that both of the nice restaurants we've eaten at for dinner have included a welcome drink and a really fancy amuse-bouche. I think she said this one was some kind of tofu topped with plum sauce. That's very interesting.
Okay, I'm not really getting Japanese vibes here. Maybe like a modern Japanese take, but to me, like, the aesthetics of this is neither Japanese or a futuristic Japanese, in the cosmos. I was expecting a little bit more. I mean, you could go very creative with Japanese architecture and details and incorporate it to the, the whole flying saucer experience, but they just really haven't.
I'm loving where our table is. Getting to watch the chefs in the kitchen do their thing is really enhancing my dinner experience.
There are more chefs in the kitchen than guests. That's not good.
I will never get old in this bed.
We really had no idea what to expect coming into this trip. And I can honestly say it lives up to the hype.
It's obviously new. They're still working out the kinks. Like, we woke up this morning and our infinity pool was no longer infinity. But they took care of that really quick.
There's something really special and almost like cute and charming about being at a place like this in such an early stage.
I kind of feel like we're like part of the team figuring this out.
So many of the staff were asking us, like, how's your stay? How's it going? And they really meant it. Like, I think they really wanted to know, like, how is it going? Because they just haven't had that many people yet.
We've traveled enough where I feel like we have a pretty good radar of when people are being nice because it's their job and when people are actually just like genuinely excited, and it feels like everyone here is just genuinely excited to be here.
Okay, this is very common. I would say the same with Iran. If you ever, you're not going to Iran, let's be honest, but if you ever do, you will find the people extremely hospitable. And I won't be surprised it's the same in Saudi, because a lot of countries in the Middle East have been closed to tourists and foreigners. So when they see one, they get extremely excited. They get so happy to see a foreigner in them, and they're really intrigued by you and who you are and what made you come in there. So I know for Iran, everyone, like if they see a foreigner in there, they just go, like people will invite you to their home. They will do anything for you. They'll give you their own money, even if they're broke, okay? They would be just so excited that you're visiting their country and doing it. And I can totally see that happening in Saudi because it's been closed for so long, and there's an excitement and there's enthusiasm and there's a respect, right, towards the foreign person to take that risk and come in against the odds, right? There's a lot of options to travel out there, but they chose their country to come. So they really go out of their way to make sure you have a very, very pleasant experience. And again, so I'm not surprised where they're having this feeling.
It will be so interesting to see if in 15 years people think about coming to the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia just like they think about going to the Maldives.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing that's really interesting about the Maldives. The Maldives is also a conservative Islamic country. They just made rules to where once you get on these private islands that are owned by the resorts, it's very Western and like anything goes. But if you go to a local island, you can't be on your bathing suit in the beach. You can't drink alcohol. This could easily become that.
100%. Again, they've overcome that, right? Maldives is an Islamic country and they're conservative, right? And Saudi really needs to make a decision here. It's really risky to spend so much money on infrastructure to bring Western tourists in and then not cater to their culture and what their needs and expectations are from a vacation, right? So great point. I'm really glad. I mean, he's obviously well traveled. He knows this stuff, so he's touching base on it.
And I'm just so happy we got to be here before it's that.
Like, we were talking to our server tonight at dinner and she was saying, come back. I think we'll have alcohol next time. Apparently that's being talked about. And like, I have mixed feelings about that. Like, it really kind of feels like a big sacrifice of culture to like do that to attract more Western guests.
Hey, I think he's just trying to be politically correct here. I don't think so. I mean, did you make this for the local population? Is the 2030 plan to make sure the local population is having better vacation experience? No, they will definitely come, right? But the whole 2030 plan is to bring foreign investment, foreign tourists, basically follow the path that Dubai has, right? Start with tourism, then make people to actually move to the country where they bring jobs, industry, technology, right? To kind of get away from the oil-dominated economy they have. Sooner or later, you have to overcome this, right? If you want to cater them to come, you need to accommodate and respect their culture. And I understand that there's differences between them, but I don't foresee letting go of your culture as an expense of welcoming another culture. You could have both of them simultaneously in the same place. A great example is Turkey. A great example is Lebanon, right? I've been to Beirut, I've been to Istanbul, and I think also Dubai, obviously. But that actually, as someone who comes from Iran and has gone through the experience of living and being born in an Islamic country, when I see that culture is blending so nicely, right, with the Western culture, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think that is how it was for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So to have that separation between the cultures, I'm not for it. I'm for integration between them. And I really hope Saudi takes a step to hold their traditions, right? But find a way to both make this project a success for their people and economy, but also make it a fun experience for the foreigners to come, right? So they won't be disappointed when they go out.
The food is to die for. This staff is incredible. The views, I don't know how it gets any better.
It feels like the Maldives. You go to the Maldives and it's sand and blue water. And here you have sand and blue water. And you have the Red Sea and probably like better diving and coral.
Did I mention how good the food is?
Also, I think one thing that we forgot to mention specifically is that there is no dress code here.
I'm a little disappointed considering he's traveled like 110 different countries. I've only done what, like 70. He did not mention for a resort like this where it's secluded, you're not going to get that cultural experience. And a ton of other resorts from Hawaii to Bora Bora, they do this from the dock experience alone, right? You walk out, you're greeted, the culture is integrated, you know where you are. Right now, this feels like, oh, like you go back home and tell your friends, you know what, like we went to this futuristic resort, it looked like spaceship, it was really cool, and it happened to be in Saudi Arabia. Like, no, like they're not going to have anything to tell you about Saudi Arabia because people are going to ask us, like, how was Saudi? Like, you didn't give them anything. And I don't want to stereotype, like, the stuff that I've seen from my perspective, right? Like, you know, whatever, sword dancing, camel racing, or, you know, falconeering. Like what do you? Like, whatever you think we should see, incorporate it, bring that in, make it part of the experience, and I think people will fall in love with the culture, the experience, and recommend it more to their friends because it wasn't just the resort experience. Now, as you know, Pacific Palisades has burned down, and I was one of the first people to get to see it while it was still on fire. If you want to see that experience, click on this video, and I'll see you guys in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.